all about, being realistic and not taking the focus away from. You never want to, like, especially like upstage, a principal actor, because it is all about them. It is. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. The story is all about them, and it's specifically soap operas. It's the dialogue between this and this, and
that's why people kept tuning in.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And do people miss it? I guess they do. Do I miss it? I guess I do. But I'm older, and I don't want to. I'm not at the end of my rope, but
it's almost.
I look back on it fondly. Let me say that. I look back on it fondly. So
I'm sure you keep in touch with a lot of people from the show, right?
Yeah, I keep in touch with Erica Slezak and and Bob Woods. I just sent Erica a message the other day, and I keep in touch with Bob Woods and Cassie DePaiva and Jim DePaiva. There's a number of people I keep in contact with, and so Bruce. It's always very good. So it's again. It's a part of me. It's a part of my life. And the Emmys will go to the children when I sail off into that big stage in the sky.
Of course. You've offered lots of advice already, but any other final words of advice for anybody that may want to get into stage managing, production, TV?
Well, again, it's right now. Obviously, the opportunities are a lot different than they were then. But again, you have to be an effective communicator. You might be able to, if you're working with Eyewitness News and you have Bill Ritter and let's say Sam Champion, you might be able to get information to them differently. You might treat Sam Champion different than you treat Bill Ritter. You have to gauge the personalities of who you're dealing with, and be kind and be courteous, but you have to be mindful of that. There's a time and a place for everything. I used to break up a lot of the tension with levity. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's a time to do it.
Yep.
But there's also a time not to do it. But they would very often, look at me and even the executive producer would say, Al, and Needles, but he would call me Al. He'd say, Al, tell us a joke, lighten it up out there. You know what I mean? Get it. And I would say to everybody, hey guys, come on, just relax. You know what I mean? Relax. And it was hard. It was very hard to say goodbye, to all these people. And Erica said the same thing. She did an interview where she mentioned me in the interview, and she said the last day was very hard. And this guy, I think it was, I don't know who, somebody interviewed her, and she said the hardest thing was to say goodbye. And she said, like Alan Needleman, I saw him, and it just broke out crying because I wasn't going to see him anymore. So makes you feel good. I felt bad too. But after the rap party, I walked out of the rap party like I never existed at ABC. Nobody said anything to me. Nobody from ABC said, thank you for your service. Nobody said anything. I was a little bit disturbed about that. It still kind of bothers me a little bit because I gave 40 years of my life to ABC. Nobody said, you know what, Alan? Thanks, man. Nobody said nothing. Party was over. I walked out. The next day, I got on a plane because my wife was already in North Carolina because I went back just to work that last week. And we closed on where we were going to live in North Carolina. So the show ended November 11th. November 18th of 2011. The morning of November 19th, I was on an airline plane flying to Raleigh.
That's it.
Over. Yep.
He did his time.
Thanks.
You mentioned your doo-wop group. Is there any other online ways to connect with you?
With me, I'm Facebook. Alan Needleman, that's pretty much it. I'm not on Instagram or any of that Twitter or any of that kind of stuff. I'm fairly simple. Not really very computer literate, but literate. Like I signed on, and I signed on like Safari. You can't do, and I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do? But I got Chrome here, so I was able to do that. But yeah, Facebook that's the way people, if they want to. But the Doo-Wop group is, like I said, Shades, shadesofgraydoo-wop.com. Gray being Grey. Yeah, you can click to hear us sing. I think there's like a sample of some of the things, and we've done a lot of good things. So
good. It's kind of come full circle. You were interested in music, and look at that. He's back to music.
Yep. Here we are.
And the final question: why does art matter?
Oh God, because why does art matter? Because art is a form of expression. And it's a way for one to bring out, one's inner self and communicate, and to it can also be a way of expression, obviously, where people art can be acting, it can be directing, it can be working in a supermarket. So in addition to drawing art, it's here art, and it's from here art. So it encompasses so many things. But I say art matters because without art, I think life would be pretty drab.
Absolutely.
I think it would be drab.
Very true. Well, since ABC didn't say it, I want to thank you for your service and all your stories and your time with being on the show. It means a lot. And
I appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it. How would I be able to hear this?
You will be able to hear this. It's on all kinds of podcasting networks and channels and subscriptions. I will let you know, and so everybody will listen, and we'll share it with the audience.
Okay, if you shoot me an email or something, how I can listen to it, so I can save it and put it into a thing where it goes with my keepsakes and memories, because it's nice to speak with, like intelligent people, and, it's good there's a million stories I haven't told you, but I want it to be clean. You know what I mean?
There could always be a part 2 someday. Thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Wow. Just wow. To have talked with someone who was in the business for so many years and did so much in that time was a true honor. And like I said, that story about being at the 84 Winter Olympics blew my mind. I had no idea how much went into getting stuff set up in another country, first of all, and having to coordinate so many things. It was incredible. And he said that was one of his greatest experiences. I would certainly imagine. To say that you were part of the Olympics in one way or another, I was so grateful he shared that with me. And learning about what a stage manager does, there's so much more to it. And there is an art to it, as he explained. There is choreography. There's interacting with actors and crew. There is an art to that. But most importantly, what I think we all heard from this episode is that Alan is just a genuinely nice guy. He doesn't have an ego on set. He's not there to ruffle feathers or start fights or be a pain in the ass. He treats people how he wishes to be treated, and it shows. People admire him. People want to work with him. And why wouldn't they? Not only is he professional, but he treats people right. And that stays with him to this day. That is definitely one of the greatest personality traits I look for in people I meet. I do my darndest, not always, but I do my darndest to give people the benefit of the doubt and treat them as how I wish to be treated. Because you don't know what another person's going through until you walk in their shoes. Just like him, I try my best to treat everyone equally with some respect, care, decency, and see where it goes. I mean, that's how I expect to be treated, and wouldn't it be an ideal world if that's how everyone treats each other? Not always the case, unfortunately, especially in show business. There's a lot of people stepping over people to get where they want. But that could get you a bad reputation, and people won't want to work with you. Not to go off topic too much, but my wife and I have been watching The Last Dance, which is all about the Chicago Bulls, when Michael Jordan was there. And is a very interesting tale when they were the dream team for the Olympics. A lot of people were thinking Isaiah Thomas was going to be part of the team. But since he, as a Detroit Piston, ruffled so many feathers, pissed so many of the players off, they did not want to work with him. Even though his athletic skill was great, his personality sucked. And why would you want that on your team? You're supposed to be a team. And if you didn't get along with someone, you don't want them in your corner. Makes sense. He didn't treat others how he wished to be treated. And he lost out on being on the dream team. So see, even at one of the highest levels, the way you act today can have a big effect on your future endeavors and dreams. And it's always great to hear a success story. I really didn't know a lot about Michael Jordan and the whole team, and it's just inspiring. I'm not really a big fan of basketball. I've been to a Knicks game when I lived in New York. It was enjoyable. I don't go on my way to see it on TV, but I kind of miss the whole Michael Jordan watching basketball era. But of course, I knew of him because he's one of the most famous people on the planet. Still, his skill and his perseverance and dedication to his sport was so inspiring and admirable. Makes me want to focus more on what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. If he can do it, you can too, and I hope I can too. As 50 approaches, birthday's coming up soon, it makes me a little sad that I'm not where I want to be at this age, and I always wanted to be at a certain spot at my age at 50, but we've got a few weeks left. Let's see what happens. Oh, and one other thing, I'll add this to the show notes because we're still not getting into movie theaters yet, and I miss going to the movies, so I did this for the month of May, and I did it now for the month of June. I put a list together of my favorite June movies. Movies that came out in the month of June, because summer movie season is so much fun. Some of the most entertaining and exciting movies come out during the summer. And I compiled a list of trailers of the movies that I enjoyed, that meant something to me when they came out in June. Maybe I didn't see them in the theater. Some of them, of course, I did. But they hold a special place to me. Even if they're not the greatest movies, they still hold a special place in my youth and childhood. I'll add that to the show notes and let me know what you think. Maybe we have some of the same movies we love in common. So thank you once again, Alan, for being an incredible guest on the show. Check him out on Facebook and his singing group. I'll have the links posted in the show notes at theartistreallymatters.com. And, of course, you can hear this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, and so many more. Check it out. Share with friends, family. And if you need a little artistic inspiration, check out the show. Share it with another artiste. Show them there is hope during this time in our lives as things slowly start to reopen. And hopefully that'll be good news for many of my fellow artists. I pray for that. Okay. Thank you much for listening to The Artist Matters. See you in 2 weeks. Until next we meet, no matter where you go, let your creativity flow.